It's a true story that will disappoint, sadden and shock even the strongest supporters of Indian cricket. The Uttarakhand men's cricket team, which yesterday were defeated by a record margin of 725 runs by domestic titans Mumbai in the quarterfinals of the Ranji Trophy, they have been struggling to get what it deserves monetarily for over a year now, where the players are due a daily allowance of rupees 1,500. The startling reality is that they have received on average a meager 100 rupees as DA, which when you consider that a legally labourer is guaranteed a minimum of 750 rupees per day in the state of Uttarakhand is shocking. An investigation carried out this year by sports writer and reporter Jamie Alter into allegations of financial irregularities, bribery and unfair selection has resulted in a damning expose into the mess that is Uttarakhand cricket. Hello and a very warm welcome to this special. Over the next half an hour, we talk to Jamie Alter himself. I'll also be joined by activist and lawyer Rahul Mehra. And also with us is Ravi Sethi, who's the father of Arya Sethi, one of the players who've had to face serious difficulties because of what is going on in Uttarakhand cricket. Let me begin then, gentlemen. Let me come to Jamie first. Jamie, first of all, kudos to you for bringing this story out, for talking about this. And I know you've been working hard on this. How did you come across this? What went into trying to figure this out? Because this couldn't have been easy, talking to people who wouldn't want to come on camera or wouldn't want to come on record to give you this story. What went into it?
First of all, thank you for giving me the chance here to speak about it. As a cricket journalist, I have heard a lot about problems and muck and certain controversies surrounding the domestic structure of the Uttarakhand team. But it was brought to my notice in a more detailed manner probably around 4.5, 5 months ago. I heard from people who are in the know, people who live in Dehradun. And as it turned out, I went to Dehradun. I made 2 trips. I met someone like Sethi Saab. He shared his experiences. I spoke to players. Of course, 99% of people were off the record. But the deeper I got into studying, the cases and seeing documents and hearing from things, ek hota hai ki you hear things. But when you get into the real mess and you start to see examples, I think for me the saddest part was to speak to people like Mr. Sethi and the other parents who've invested time, their savings, their hard work into trying to give their children, boys and girls, the chance to become, at the very least, domestic cricketers, and to see their hopes and aspirations dashed and the money lost, and then to see how deep this rot actually goes. So as far as the story goes, it was probably 2.5 months of off and on researching, speaking to people, meeting them, accessing documents, which then led to the story. The story, as Mr. Sethi knows, has been ready for some time, but I wanted to wait for the unfortunate result of that Ranji quarterfinal. Mujhse players ne bhi kaha tha ki look, this match, we have no chance of winning this match because of all that's going on. So when you have that really sad feeling that they're going to lose this match, that's why we waited until the day for it to finally come out.
Now, there are some shocking details in that story, financial irregularities, but the one that stands out for me, and I think it's so important, and Rahul will also agree with this, that more and more now you're seeing everybody talk about how players are more important than the administrators. It's the players who need to be in the foreground. It's the players who deserve everything. But here we have a case where it's the players who are suffering the most. In Jamie's story, some of those details are absolutely heartbreaking. Mr. Sethi, give us a detail of what happened with your son, Arya Sethi. I believe he played for Uttarakhand and at one point was playing well, but then suddenly something changed. Tell us what was going on, sir.
Yeah, ma'am, from last 13, 14 years, I am with him and he is doing well, and we are cooperating him and we are taking him to academies and good coaches and everything a parent can do. We have done everything. He played India under 19 and he was man of the series in 2018-19. Then he played Vijay Hazare. He scored half century at the age of 17. Then suddenly when BCCI was here, it was very good. It was too good. When BCCI was handling it very nicely. Then suddenly, what happened? They had given a charge to this association Mahim Verma and his associates. Means they are all matlab, doing wrongdoings and everything. Matlab, they are doing all illegal things.
कैसे एक एग्जांपल दीजिए सर. एक तो आपके बेटे को जो डेथ थ्रेट्स मिले, व्हाट वाज दैट अबाउट एंड व्हाट आर दीज
They
इलीगल थिंग्स सर that they're doing?
see they have an access with, means they have a lot of people here who are doing working for them, and they used to contact parents, and they used to contact the nearest guys, and they used to say ki you pay 10 lakh, 15 lakh, 20 lakh, then only your son can play, otherwise your son can't play. And see, in means every aspect you can see. Miss Jamie came here. Jamie said that I will do this story, and Jamie came here, and Jamie got all the evidences with him. Means it's a huge racket. It's a very huge racket.
Okay.
And they are not fearful. They don't fear of anyone. They say कि क्या बोलते हैं, ऊपर वाले हमें जानते हैं, हमारा कुछ नहीं हो सकता. The police department, they can't do anything, and they haven't done. But it's a long period. Several complaints have been filed, means in court cases. See, court में रिश्वत लेना देना दोनों both are like it's a crime.
Let's
People file cases in court. They
Yes.
settle it out of court, and they get rid of. They get rid of, ma'am.
Okay, let's then get the lawyer here and his perspective in. Rahul, this is not the first time you've seen this, and I know you've you've been close to so many of these stories. We've seen this with other sports associations. We've also seen it with other state cricket associations. I mean, there have been allegations against DDCA for corruption. Jammu and Kashmir Cricket Association at one point, Hyderabad, Mumbai. I mean, my thing is that, and we've had these conversations before as well, Rahul, my thing is that nothing changes. It's like the more you look at it, it remains the same. These problems continue to happen. How can they be stopped? What can be done from here on? Because, I mean, you read that story. Everything that can go wrong with sports administration has gone wrong in the state of Uttarakhand. And yet, as Mr. Sethi was saying, that they're not afraid at all.
Yeah, so I think the answer lies in two or three very critical things, and I'll try and address that during the course of your program today. But before that, huge kudos and congratulations to Jamie Alter. This is the kind of investigative journalism which one should be proud of, which is missing, in India. But I'm glad that, there are people like Jamie who are willing to stick their neck out and who are willing to call spade a spade. And that's what makes it very interesting. Surely this is not the first or the last time that something like this is going to be covered by a journalist in India. It's happened over the decades, and unfortunately nothing has changed. We had a committee of administrators appointed by the Supreme Court for about 2 to 3 years, and one thought that the rot will be actually now something of the past. But unfortunately, we have seen that the money and the power that BCCI has, and many of these political bosses and very powerful people come from the state associations. Some people are close to the sports minister, some people is close to some other minister, some other official you will find is a minister himself. So, politics in sports is what makes sports dirty. We all know politics in India, how dirty it is. We all know how corrupt our politicians generally are. I won't like to, brush everyone with the same color. There are exceptions, but far and few. And we all have seen it over the years, right? So the first and the foremost thing is it possible to divorce politics from sports in India? And I've been fighting for that for almost last 10 years, almost 12 years now. And hopefully sooner than later, something of the sort will happen where, at least sports will be freed from the clutches of politicians, and especially the corrupt politicians. So that's the problem. That's your problem number one. Problem number two is there is overflowing of funds in state associations. Please understand, and Meha, you know this very well. You've been following cricket and covering cricket for a very long time now. You're one of the senior journalists of this country, and therefore, it's known to you. But it's important that the viewers should know through this medium that there is a TV rights, and 90% of BCCI's money comes from that TV rights. There is a subvention fund where players have to be given a certain amount of funds out of those TV rights. In the year 99-2000, when I filed my PIL, I was fighting for players' rights, where TV rights should go to the players, a very majority sum, a major sum of it. And hope, somewhere down the line, almost 20 to 30% of that fund started going in towards the players, and that's how you had these contractual list of category A, B, and C. But when you come down to the district and the state level, what happens is there is a huge chunk of money, almost to the tune of 40 to 50 crores or maybe more annually. Please note this amount, 40 to 50 crores or more annually, which comes to the state federations from BCCI. Right? Where is the accountability and transparency?
Yeah.
Why is BCCI not under RTI? Where is, and this is despite the fact that the Supreme Court has very well held that they should be. And when they come under RTI, we have seen all the sports federations invoke Section 8 of the RTI Act, where they say that this is something which we can't divulge because of secrecy, because of the entire code being there. These are under the exemption clause, blah blah blah. So therefore, there is complete opaqueness in these bodies. And number three, there are huge amount of bungling of these huge sums of 40 to 50 crores annually.
Yeah.
You see the report, what Jamie had unearthed, and this is what I had unearthed in 1999-2000, but in a different way. Jamie's story tells us that one state association, probably lying somewhere in the hills of India, they are spending 35 lakhs on what?
Yeah.
22
Bananas.
lakhs, sorry?
Yeah, bananas and water bottles.
On bananas. That's the slippery road that this body is traveling on. What kind of bananas are these? Are these gold bananas? Are these, what kind of bananas are these? And who's consuming these bananas?
Yeah.
In 99-2000, Meha, a very similar analogy I want to give. Cricket board was earning 8 crore rupees an annum. 8 crores in comparison to the thousands of crores they earn today. Out of those 8 crores, not a single money spent on buying cricket balls in 99-2000.
Yeah.
And what are you doing? Promoting and developing the game of cricket. How do you play cricket without cricket ball being purchased? However, in every single meeting of theirs, they were spending 70,000 to 3 to 4 lakh of rupees. Now, in 99-2000, 4 lakh rupees for a meeting where you are served biscuits were those gold biscuits in 99-2000.
Yeah.
Now, are these gold bananas? So, therefore, we come to the problem number 4. When complaints are lodged, Anti-Corruption Bureau comes in, CBI is made to look the other way, ED doesn't come into and arrest these people. Why? Because the political bigwigs who are manning these bodies, who are at the top of these various bodies right from BCCI down below, are the ones who are protecting, because they don't want the ghost to come out of the closet, because it will be like a pack of cards, the house is going to fall. Almost all of them. This is, Jamie, I would request you, please go across India and you will see this is being replicated in many other state federations. Not only, this is not a unique body. Trust me, this is not. Almost every other body you will find similar circumstances, similar situations, similar complaints of bungling and siphoning off, similar protection by the political bigwigs. Authorities not taking action, investigating agencies looking the other way for reasons best known to them. And the proof of the pudding, Meha, is in its eating. Why? This is a very, very powerful government in the center today. Anurag Thakur, as the sports minister, has been the sports minister and also the BCCI president.
Correct.
If there is one person who understands BCCI and the state associations, and no other person understands it better, is Anurag Thakur as the sports minister. In half a second, if you want to curb this rot, you need to bring in anti-corruption practices as a part of your own code, bring a new law and make life imprisonment or at least 10 years minimum imprisonment
as imprisonment for anybody who's found in corrupt practices in Indian sports, including doping, including match fixing and spot fixing. What has happened? We have been hearing about this law since 2000, Hansi-Kronie Gate.
Yeah.
Where is that law? Why is it that 22 years you haven't been able to pass a law for a government who we all know is all pervasive and all powerful? They can pass an ordinance. They have the majority in Lok Sabha, majority in Rajya Sabha. Why is it that there is lack of political will?
Sure.
And again, it will all lead down to the political bigwigs who are manning these bodies.
Absolutely, and so it's a vicious cycle, and I get that. But right now, what is the legal discourse for someone like Arya Sethi? I'm just going to come back to you, Rahul.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, I'm actually a great optimist, but as a you know, I've seen Indian sports for 22 years now very closely. Unfortunately, players will come and go. Rajiv Shukla will continue on the board for 22 uninterrupted years, and many others like him will continue on the board. Despite, you know, Supreme Court orders, despite various judgments, they flouted on the face of it. The president of BCCI, Mr. Saurav Ganguly, the icon, and the secretary, Mr. Jay Shah, are both in violation of the Supreme Court judgment itself. What can you expect? What kind of legalities and law-abiding, you know, steps can you expect from people if at the highest level everybody is flouting the law? What are we talking about? Please, you know, therefore players will be, careers will be destroyed, players will come and go, stories will be unearthed, and 1 or 2 days this show will carry on. Third day it will be business as usual, unless and until right at the top laws are stringent, investigative agencies are given a free hand rather than being a caged bird or a caged parrot in the hands of the powers that be. Unless and until you do that, players in India are going to be the ones who are going to suffer. Sports is going to suffer. Sports administrators, unfortunately, are going to have the last laugh.
I mean, you paint a really dreary picture of sports administration and what players have to deal with. And it's so much more than just the regular grind, Jamie, isn't it? It's not just about getting selected. It's also how you get selected. It's about how, like Mr. Sethi is saying, कि भाई आप एक तो होता है कि आप normally आपका player, आपका बेटा talented है, so he's getting selected. But here you have to go through so many other things. You know, there's obviously selection bias being a huge issue. I'll come to you. Mr. Sethi, जब वो incident जो हुआ, जहाँ पे your son was threatened, उसके बारे में, can you tell us a little bit more as to what happened and what is the situation right now?
This bloody guy, Mahim Verma, he came here nearby our house. There was a politician, he died, so he came in the morning. So my son called my wife. He said कि पापा यार इन्होंने मुझे क्या बोलते मारा और इन्होंने मुझे धमकी दी जान से मारने की कि ब्रिजेश सिंह जो है मेरा चाचा है. There is one Piyush Raghuvanshi. He was manager. He is very close aide to Mahim. Means they have a nexus. He has sent these guys, and there is one coach. He has played only 1 or 2 first class cricket, 2 first class this thing, and he is getting 31 lakhs. You see only 2-3 matches of first class cricket, and he became a coach, and he is with the team. And then they threatened my son कि क्या बोलते हैं तू अपने बाप से बात करा. Then this Mahim Verma, he came here. I said कि भाई क्या बात है भाई, आप मेरे लड़के को क्यों परेशान कर रहे हो? भाई नहीं खिला रहे, कोई बात नहीं, टीम में मत खिलाओ आप. कह रहे नहीं 10 लाख रुपए दो, तब क्या बोलते हैं हम, ये फोन पे बात कराई उसने. फिर then I got angry. I said ये क्या मजाक हो रही है. I went to the police station to file an FIR. My FIR was not lodged. Nothing has been done. Then I went to court. Then the court has given direction to, now the case is on. The court has given direction to this police station. And nothing, in newspaper, everything came in newspaper, headlines, everything, but nothing has been done.
हाँ, मतलब सब कुछ हो गया, फिर भी कुछ नहीं हुआ.
कुछ नहीं करते ना.
हाँ, and I think
do anything.
I think Rahul's obviously very nicely put it out for us as to what is going on really. And at the end of the day, it comes down to the power structure and how, you know, right from the bottom till the top, people are, yes, Mr. Sethi, yes.
The parents talked to Jamie off the line. They said our name should not come because of our children will not be able to play. But they will not let your children play until unless you pay. My son has been sitting on the bench for 29 matches. He has been with the team, and they didn't let him play. They said, until unless you don't pay money, we will not let your son play. I said, well, I will not pay even a single penny to you.
Okay, now,
This is the truth.
Hanji, no, I get that. And Jamie spoke to me about how there have been so many parents who are frustrated, afraid, don't know what the future of their kids is at the moment, given that, you know, what is going on with Uttarakhand cricket. Now, I tried to speak to Arun Singh Dhumal of the BCCI. I tried to figure out whether he can make a comment, whether he can look into this. The reply that I got from Mr. Dhumal was that he was busy in a meeting. Remember IPL's big media rights on Sunday. So he's busy with that. But he did say he will look into it and he will get back. Hasn't gotten back. We'll give him some time before we can come back.
So,
but I heard that.
Meha,
yes.
So Meha, if you are an administrator at the top who even gets a sniff of what you're talking about, I think any sensible and reasonable and prudent person would drop everything, would drop IPL, would drop BCCI commitments, and would get to the root of this. Only when you don't want to get to the root and you want to brush everything under the carpet, this kind of an approach comes that I'm busy in X, Y, Z. What can be more important for a cricket administrator than to get to the bottom of a story like this?
Yeah.
And if Jamie has said something wrong, take him to the gallows.
Yeah.
But if Jamie is right, then please go to the bottom, right to the root of this problem, and try at least be seen to be doing something. I'm not even asking them to do it.
Yeah.
It is in your own interest to be seen to be doing something.
Jamie, you wanted to come in?
That is exactly the point. What Rahul is saying is we've seen in the past few days, there's been a case in Indian cycling. There's been a case in sailing. There's been some kind of a response from those respective boards, right? Unfair to compare what's happening there with BCCI because like Rahul has outlined, BCCI is a different beast, but there was some action taken. The silence here just underlines exactly what Rahul's been saying so articulately, that nothing is going to come of this. We all know that this is just one state. I've heard of these stories in numerous cases. There's a guy on my cricket team who's come from Bihar. He has the similar kind of stories.
Yeah.
12 lakh de do, will get the job. There's nothing new. But something has to be done. Voices have to be raised. Yes, in 2 days the story might again fade away. But we need to keep on bringing up the frailties of the families of the players and keep on hammering away at the system in the hope that something somewhere, even at the smallest level, something changes. But yes, like Rahul said, the situation is very, very bleak.
But what can we do? We can raise our voices. We can put these stories out. We can demand answers from, you know, the administrators involved. We can demand answers from the BCCI, and trust me, we will. We've also put in a WhatsApp message to Mr. Saurav Ganguly, the president of the BCCI. Let's see what his response is, because I think after having read this story, one thing is clear, that something needs to be done. And I know Rahul also comes in with cynicism, because I understand where that comes from. He's been doing this for a really long time, and I know it's been a long journey for you, really. I mean, yes.
But Meha, just to add to that, see, the journey's been long and arduous, and at times very satisfying, and for most of the time extremely frustrating. But let me just say one thing. We all in our own spheres, you as a journalist, me as a lawyer, whatever expertise we have, we must try, and if we are passionate about something, pursue that and pursue it to the best of our abilities to its logical conclusion. Yeah. If it takes 50 years, so be it. But like Jamie rightly said, step by step, have the building blocks built. In 1999, 2000, when I started for accountability and transparency in sports with BCCI, look at where we are today. You know,
Yeah.
there have been some small gains. Players are getting some money. Earlier, they were getting nothing.
Yeah.
Today, at the state level, they are not getting it. With Jamie's story, tomorrow they will.
Yes,
So the
absolutely.
difference will be made. But the
Yes.
problem is, if you want to really see, this is a cancer which is there. You can't do it with minor surgeries. You have to now really address it from the perspective that you need to just cut the organ and throw it away, because otherwise your other organs are going to get impacted. So
absolutely.
it needs desperate measures now. Smaller minor issues will not take care of it. And you know, God has put Saurav Ganguly in a place where most of the players never find themselves, and I wish him the very best. But then he must utilize it rather than playing a second fiddle to some
Absolutely.
politician. He must utilize it for the sports. He must utilize it for the sports person. He must stand up for the real causes.
Yes, good
You know?
point. And Saurav Ganguly has been sent a message, so let's see how he responds to it. And you know, we'll also do a follow up on this story, because this is a huge story. Jamie, just the last comments from you. The players themselves, you spoke to them. How was it? It must have been really, I don't know, heartbreaking to see that there's so much talent there. You know, there are hardworking people, hardworking kids who want to just get in and play cricket and are not able to do so.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, having grown up in that Dehradun, Mussoorie region, I've seen the talent. You know, I've seen at the school level, college level, the cricket team that I captain here on the weekends. We've gone to Doon. We played three tours, and we've seen local players there. When there was a Doon Premier League auction, I was there. There clearly is talent. But then you hear the stories from someone like Mr. Sethi and the other parents. Even the players who were in Karnataka contesting the final, they were so deflated. You're playing Mumbai 41-time winners, you know. You're already battling the odds, but then to go into that mindset of a competitive quarterfinal, not knowing, yaar, hamare paise kab aayenge, is the DA ever going to come? The insecurity, the heart just goes out to the players and the parents, because the rest, the administrators will escape, the coaches will escape, selector ka kuch hoga nahi. But what happens to the players and the parents? That for me was the saddest part of this whole 2.5 month investigation.
And the feeling that one gets asking for what is owed to you. I mean, you've written that beautifully in the story as well. The captain walking up, thinking, you know, should I ask for the DA that is owed to us? I mean, just that feeling of even going and asking for it and knowing what the reply is going to be. Yes, quickly, Jamie, we're running out of time.
No, I'm saying it's not about one day. This is a year of, you know, there are times when you could argue that, okay, perhaps the players aren't aware of the rules, the team manager has not passed on the right information, but it just builds up 1 year of insecurity. Against that insecurity, are you surprised when a team gets bowled out for 69?
69,
I'm not. It's not a one-off case. Look at the situation. They're supposed to play a quarterfinal.
Yes, running out of time quickly. 30 seconds, yes.
Meha, see the amount of money that these bodies have. There is no reason why the players should not be paid in lakhs and lakhs of rupees. I have no reason to believe that they are short of funds, right? So the real question is, where is this money going, and to whom? How is the money seeping out? What are the fictitious expenses which are being shown?
Correct.
Why are these expenses being shown? Where are those bananas? Who sold those bananas? Who ate those bananas? 22 lakh rupees, 35 lakh rupees over bananas?
Yes.
I mean, have you gone bananas?
Transparency, have you gone bananas? I get your point. Mr. Sethi, yes, quickly. I'm running out of time, gentlemen.
Yeah. Meha, see, this Mahim Verma and associates, this staff, his staff, they are taking DA 15,000 per day. 15,000 per day.
मतलब एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर का DA 15,000 और जो प्लेयर खेल रहे हैं.
And what does he do?
$100.
And what does the administrator do? Question is, what is the administrator doing after getting that 15,000 daily? And what is the player doing?
Very valid questions, very valid questions. And Jamie, thank you once again for even bringing this story out. And Mr. Mehra, who's been doing this forever? Rahul, you've been doing this for a really long time. You started with all the sports associations, BCCI. I mean, we've had conversations around it. But like you said, you've got to follow that path passionately if you want the change to come. But ये जो एक बात कही है end में in the story, Jamie, where you said a veteran administrator put it properly, he said दाल में कुछ काला नहीं, दाल ही पूरी काली है, which is exactly what Rahul is saying as well. कि ये पूरा, the whole, it's a vicious cycle. Everybody is involved from the top to the bottom. How is it that we can change it? We can raise our voices, and we're doing just that. Completely out of time. Rahul, I'm sorry. I'll have to cut you short. Completely out of time. A producer is telling me in my ear, I've got to wrap this up. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us. Mr. Sethi as well. Hope your son gets more opportunities to play, to play for the Indian team if he's good enough. And Jamie Alter and Rahul Mehra as well. Thank you for joining us. That's it then on this special. News 9 Sports is what you need to subscribe to for the latest from the world of sports. That's it from us. Goodbye.